The Big Sick is a rom-dramedy written by comedian Kumail Nanjiani and producer Emily Gordon about their meeting, falling in love, falling out, and the coma that brought them back together. Yeah, at the close of the film's first act, Kumail, playing himself, and Zoe Kazan, playing Emily, have broken up, and it's at that point that she winds up in the hospital and is put into a medically induced coma, and it's under these circumstances that the now ex-boyfriend Kumail meets Emily's parents, played by Ray Romano and Holly Hunter, for the first time. Oh, and also during all of this, there's the ongoing issue that Kumail is Pakistani and his folks want him to date a Pakistani Muslim girl, which Emily is not on both counts, which leads to them breaking up, so we've got that undercurrent of Pakistani identity running throughout the secondary story for Kumail. That and his stand-up career, which is arguably less exciting than Disapproving Parents, but that allows for Bo Burnham and Adie Bryant to be in the film. So anyway, across the board, talent is strong. Most of you are probably familiar with Nanjiani through his supporting role on Silicon Valley, but The Big Sick shows that he can hold his own as a leading man. Zoe Kazan, while unconscious for most of the second act, is captivating and shows great emotional range. In the trailers for the film, Ray Romano was given a ton of attention, but Holly Hunter was constantly delighting me as the more aggressive parent to the spineless Romano. On the direct family front for Kumail, both Zenobia Shroff and Anupam Kher are exceptional as his mom and dad. And from a casting standpoint, Kher was a phenomenal get for the production, as he's a huge Bollywood star, and The Big Sick marks his 500th production. And in the film, he gets several weighty moments to both lay into and later comfort Kumail, while Shroff starts off as a more bubbly, almost comical matriarch, but soon turns steely as she sees Kumail turning his back on his heritage. And then there's Adil Akhtar, who is great as Kumail's brother, being somewhat caught in the crossfire of all this, serving as both the model son, having gone through with a traditional arranged Pakistani marriage, but also supporting Kumail's career choices and acting as a bit of an inside man for Kumail when things are tough with family. You see, with The Big Sick, we aren't playing a sugar-coated romance, and we're allowed to sit in more sobering moments like the tension and arguments of Emily's folks, or Emily and Kumail's breakup. The subject matter is admittedly darker than usual fare covered by director Michael Showalter, who many of you will and should know from Stella or Wet Hot American Summer, but his last directorial venture, Hello, My Name is Doris, starring Sally Field, definitely dipped into some more sobering moments despite its quirky exterior. So it's nice to see Showalter stretch himself even more. He's just really masterful at cultivating laughs in moments of uncertainty, and doesn't shy away from more raw emotional moments. This also might be in part to Judd Apatow being a producer on the project, who is all about blending the funny with the more methodical human moments, though sometimes to the detriment of the film's runtime, and The Big Sick does skew on the longer side, but the film feels very light on its feet. The Big Sick is a movie that is both unconventional while still feeling very familiar. Lovers from dissimilar backgrounds is nothing new, and while this isn't as divisive as, say, a movie like Dil Se, which, if you haven't seen, just give this Bollywood film a watch without knowing anything. It's a trip. But seeing Kumail struggle with his Muslim and Pakistani roots while trying to impress Emily and her parents should be relatable, as we've all had moments where we try to make a seemingly impossible relationship work. The circumstances to this love story skew dark, but there's a fair amount of kitschy moments and cinematic conflict in The Big Sick that leave you warm and fuzzy despite the more prickly moments among couples, offering a fair amount of honest humanity and making it a worthwhile watch. So those are my thoughts on The Big Sick. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And of course, if you'd like more from me, you can check out my previous review on Up right there. Or if you'd like to see me in a different format, you can check out my podcast, The Sorting Hat Podcast, right there. It's where me and my co-host sort various things into the houses of Hogwarts. So comment, click, and keep loving movies, guys. As for me, I'm going to avoid getting into a medically induced coma as best I can.